Let me read you something about Roman law I think is very interesting. It says, Roman law, the characteristics of the earlier Roman law was its extreme formalism. From its first secret administration as the law of privileged classes, it expanded until it became the basis for all civilized legal systems. The principle of Roman law, again, the characteristics of earlier Roman law was its extreme formalism. If you don't say things right in a courtroom, you fill out the papers absolutely flawlessly correct, it don't work. It's extremely formal. But it goes on to say, from its first secret administration as the law of privileged classes, it expanded until it became the basis for all civilized legal systems. So the real law, there's two laws out there. The law you think you understand, and then there's the real law, which is maritime admiralty. And that's for the privileged classes. That's on a need-to-know basis, and they don't figure you need to know. Let me go back to this subject that I'm fascinated with, and that is the old ancient religion of the planet Saturn. Saturn, first of all, and the reference works will tell you that there was a symbol that was associated with Saturn worship in the ancient world. It was two triangles interlaced, triangle up and a triangle down, and it was called the Star of Saturn, Saturn's star. And today we call it the Star of David. No, the Star of David, there was no King David. The Star of Saturn. And Saturn in the old Phoenician Canaanite system was not called Saturn, it was called El, E-L. And consequently, El, if you were a worshiper of El, and you were leading the worship in the church for El, the old ancient Hebrew god El, the planet Saturn, you would do it on Saturn's day. So you go to tempt El on Saturn's day. And therefore you would be an elder. You are now an elder. How did you get to be an elder? Because you were elected. That's why you have an election. And now because you have been elected and you are an elder, you're now one of the elites. Right? You can go up a little higher now with the elevator because you've been elevated. This is where it comes from. And how did you get to be one of the elites? Because you were elected by the elders. Because they had the juice, electricity, the juice, the cash flow. This is why the judge rules from the bench. The bench is a bank. Where do you find a bank? You find a bank on both sides of a river, called river banks. What do river banks do? They direct the flow of the currency. This is why churches are divided by denominations, 50s, 100s, and 20s. This is very serious stuff. In this country, we have within our borders people who are so ill-informed, ignorant, and so downright stupid, they have never done any homework. They go along to get along. They don't read anything. If it wasn't for sex, drugs, and basketball, they wouldn't have anything to entertain themselves with. And the three networks. How come there's three networks? You always got to have a triune system, the triune God. I'm just amazed. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I was told by one of America's leading rabbis there was no Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob. Just a story. And I said, why? And he said, well, because the Hindus had Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. The Egyptians had Isis, Horus, Osiris. Christians have got Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, so we got to have something too. So we got Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I said, was there an Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? He says to me, I don't know. Was there a Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva? I don't know. Well, no, that's just a religion. So is ours, just a religion. And I get sick and tired of people who say that because you talk about the Jewish religion or the Christian religion, therefore you're an anti-Semitic. Let me clarify something for you. You can call me anything you want. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not anti-Jewish. I'm anti-bullshit. Period. There seems to be, according to reference work, two kinds of Jews in this country. One is called a Sephardic, which are Semitic Jews. And then there is a larger group, 3/4 of all Jews in the world are not Sephardic, they are Ashkenazi. Ashkenazi or Sephardic. Sephardic Jews are Semitic. Ashkenazis are European Germanic, German. You understand? So when an Ashkenazi European Jew says that I am anti-Semitic, I say, first of all, are you Semitic? Well, no, I'm German. Now, what do you care if I was anti-Semitic anyway? I mean, what is it to you anyway? Because you're not even Semitic anyway. You're a German. And you better look at that word Ashkenazi. It's spelled N-A-Z-I, Ashkenazi. And you better look at the priesthood called the Nazarites. And you better start doing some homework on the word Naza, N-A-Z-A, Nazarite. Look it up in a dictionary and see how it's spelled, N-A-Z-I-R-I-T-E, Nazi-Rite. The whole entire Nazi system was a Jewish rabbinical system. And that's why the word Holocaust is used. There's a very definite reason why the word Holocaust was used. And if you're Jewish, you need to start thinking about, why do you use the word Holocaust? I've sat and talked with rabbis and they tell me, okay, all right, you're right. So why don't you tell your people? Well, hey, you go tell them, not me. Look at the word Ashkenazi. Look at the word A-S-H, the first three letters, Ash, Ashkenazi. It's A-S-H comes from the Ash constellation. This is why the Catholics put ash on Holy Wednesday. They put ash. Ash is a constellation out there in space. And the ancient Nazis, the old Nazis, said that their gods who came from another world, that they were the progenitors of a great mass, a race of people, came from the Ash constellation. And I said to myself, and I asked the rabbi, does that have anything to do with the Ashkenazi, N-A-Z-I? And if that does, then is there something there about this whole thing, Holocaust? Asking a Jew what a Holocaust is like asking a Christian what Christ means. They haven't got the faintest idea. It was a terrible, bad thing. What happened? I know it was a terrible thing, and they killed a lot of Jews. Well, they killed a lot of other people, too. Why do you use the word Holocaust? Very interesting, I suspect. A Holocaust is, first time we come across the word Holocaust is in the Bible in Genesis. And it says that Adam and Eve had two sons, Cain and Abel, and they both of the sons offered up sacrifices to God. And they were burnt offerings. So they were, and it's referred to in the Bible as a Holocaust. Cain offered up his Holocaust to God, and Abel offered up his Holocaust to God. All right, a Holocaust is a sacrificial, ritualistic, burnt offering. A sacrificial, ritualistic, burnt offering to God. Consequently, when you use the word Holocaust, the Holocaust is a sacrificial, ritualistic, burnt offering, meaning that somebody was killing Semitic Jews and offering them up as a deal. They're offering them up on the altar as a sacrifice for a deal. What was the deal? Who were the parties to the deal? And what was the name of the tune here? And then I start talking to rabbis, and they'll say, well, you know, that's a very touchy subject. Yeah, well, I'm going to touch it.